All of you able to see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Okay, yeah. So we have completed the entire mobile application testing along with the tool. But when it comes to the interview, some of the important questions which we have to understand now. First question, they will ask you, can you please explain your project? Okay, you have to talk about both web application as well as mobile application. You should not talk about only web application. That you should remember. Second one, can you tell me a login scenario? Like, how do you test in the, for example, how do you test join? How do you test it in Android and iOS? You have to give an instant answer. You should not think too much. So if it is a login, don't say word click, check. Use the word tap. So if it is a login feature, by default, okay, whenever we launch any of the application, it will ask us to log in. So we will be getting a login screen there, or we will get a login screen whenever we launch. There we type the, like we type, you can say that, or we have entered the required details. Then we tap on the login button. It might be a validation, whatever it might be. If you're putting any of the project in your resume, you should know what is a login feature in your application. Whether it is asking email ID and phone number, or whether it's asking only phone number, that you should remember. How do you take a logs? If your application is released to the live environment, how do you take logs? If your application is released to the live environment, normally you know how to take logs when you're doing a testing. Okay, how do you take logs in Android mobile when you're doing a testing? Answer. How do you take logs?
ADB Logcat.
Very good. We will use ADB Logcat to capture the logs in Android. How about iOS? Anybody knows that? Okay. I have prepared one sample document. How do you take a logs? Different. How do you take logs if your application is released to the live environment? This question you don't know how to answer. Fine. How do you take a logs when you are testing an application, when you're testing an Android application? When you're testing an Android application. In the test, when you're testing means by default, it will be in the test environment for Android. So you use ADB commands. Use ADB commands. You will say that word. It is a general answer, ADB commands. But when they ask which command, you should know that ADB Logcat. And you should remember all the ADB commands, whatever they ask. How do you install? How do you uninstall? How do you upgrade? How do you take a bug report? How do you take a screenshot? That you should remember. How do you get the build, like I say, version number or fingerprint, build fingerprint, everything you should be able to fetch it. Okay. But how do you take logs when you're testing an application in the iOS? I'll take this as a separate question. when you're testing an iOS application. iOS application. For this, remember, I am not using any tool. No tool as of now. Okay, where you have to take, you have to go to your iOS mobile. Okay, in that iOS mobile, go to settings. Are you able to see that? The iPhone.
Yes, sir.
Okay, settings. In that, which option? Read it.
Privacy.
Privacy. In that privacy, you have to go to analytics and improvements. Okay, then you have to go to analytics data. You have to turn on this. Okay, so make sure share iPhone and watch analytics is there. No, it should be enabled. It should not be disabled. It should be enabled. Then you click on this analytics data. There you will see the date and time of each and every log. Whenever you launch any application, all the logs will be stored here. 30 days logs will be available here, and slowly it will be deleted remaining logs. Slowly it will delete the remaining logs. So up to 30 logs, 30 days logs, you can see it here in this particular option. If they ask how to answer in the iPhone mobile, I have not used any particular tool. In iPhone, I used to go to settings. In that settings, privacy. In that privacy, analytics and improvement. There, when we click on analytics data, there we see the list of logs. When you click on that logs, you'll see the file. So then I am not understanding anything. What is this? What is there in this file? You don't have to do anything. When your application gets crashed, you just come to here and there will be one new file will be generated according to the date and time. It will be synced. You have to take that and you have to send it to the developer. Developer, he will go and check this log. Oh, where is the crash? Are you able to see that exe iPhone crash here? Expected type inside. It might be not visible. So the developer will take care of in detail. So if you're not understanding, that is fine. So this is a step if anybody asks. You want to take down the notes? Please take them. How do you take logs when you're testing an iOS application? How do you take logs when you're testing an iOS application? Or how do you take a logs when application gets crashed in the iOS device? Question you write here. First one. How do you take logs when you're testing an iOS application? Or how do you take logs when the iOS application gets crashed? How do you take logs when iOS application gets crashed? Okay, for that answer, you write on this. You only write on the steps. Step 1, settings. Step 2, privacy. Step 3, analytics. Write on that.
Sir, after analytics and improvements.
Next. Analytics data. Step 4. If you want to take an image screenshot, you can take down image screenshot. Anybody want to take a screenshot, you can take down. Completed? Shall we move on to the next question?
No, sir.
Just write down the names. Step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4. Then take down the screenshot if you want.
Sir, next slide, sir.
Next slide. Huh? Okay. Completed? Okay, finish it fast. We have to move on.
Done, sir.
Okay. So this is done. Next, this question. How do you take logs if your application is released to, okay, assume that how do you take logs if your application is released to the live environment? Now tell me, is it possible to take logs when your application is in the live environment? It's the production environment. Is it possible to take logs? Common sense answer. Will you go and test the application in the live environment?
No,
No.
Then what is the answer?
no, can't take.
But now what is the answer? How do you take logs? Whenever we are working in the e-commerce environment, so there are, look at here. E-commerce application. E-commerce application. Development. Tools. So not that one. Customer tracking system. So there are many. Okay, there is a option for mix panel. Mix panel. Okay, so this one. Mix panel is a event analytics service company that tracks user interaction with the web and mobile application. Data collected is used to build the custom reports and measure the user engagement and retention. Mix panel work with the web application. This is for majorly for SaaS product. You want to know the SaaS? What is the SaaS?
The software as a service.
Okay, now you are sending you are building an e-commerce application. So that is on software. And you are selling it to your customer as a service. You are building an e-commerce application, that is a software, and you are selling it to your customer as a service because everybody are using Myntra, Flipkart, PhonePe. So that is a service we are using it. So now when they say, have you worked on SaaS product application or SaaS based application? What do you say? Yes or no? In the interview, they will ask, have you worked on SaaS products or SaaS based application?
Yes.
You should say yes because you are putting in your resume, you are putting most of the product based company projects only. So mix panel will look like this. Bring it the images here. It brings the images where you can track all the customer. For example, crores of customers details are there. There is a search option. You can search the particular customer with the ID, and you can track how much sales has made. So now you have to address this question now. They're asking you, right? How do you take? You can tell. So practically, we will not be able to take a logs. You should answer like this. Practically, we will not be able to take a logs through ADB commands when the application is in the live environment. So, but in our project, we are using a mix panel. What is the name?
Mix panel.
Mix panel. So this is a tool which is used to track the live users and actions, whatever they do. For example, I'm a customer. Okay, I will go to Myntra application, Myntra.com. Whatever action I do, they can track. Okay, I have not logged in, unknown user, and has done kids and they clicked on dresses or clicked on t-shirt. So this every activity will be captured in this mix panel. For example, if I'm getting one error, I'm trying to add this to the wish list. It is not getting added to the wish list. If I'm getting an error, that will be tracked in this. Okay, this customer is getting this issue. This app is got crashed. For example, if you're using a mobile app, you are trying to make a payment. Oh, there's a payment issue with so-and-so customer. Automatically that will be detected there. Or if you're trying to update, they have released a new update. You're not able to update. Even though after updating, your app is not working. So there's an update issue. Or your app is getting crashed. Or you have raised some issue saying that you are not able to add the product to the cart. So everything will be assigned here. So when they type your product ID, they can see that, oh, this is a particular customer and raised. And they will have an option, crash. When they type, whatever the customer are getting a crash, those names will come in the list. When they type issue, overall raise the issue, everything comes in one line. So they can get the list of details. Out of crores of customers, they cannot go and check one by one. They have made a segment. So that is how they'll be able to fetch the details. So what should be your answer? Through mix panel, we will be able to understand the issue. Then development team will fix the defect. We will retest it, and then we will relaunch the application. We will re-release the application to the live environment. Is it clear, all of you? How to answer this? QC 18 full, QC 18, QC 19 fine. You leave it. QC 18 folks. This is how you should answer when they ask you in the interview. Next up, remember when you are working in an e-commerce application, okay, so there will be a suppliers, there will be customers also. So now what is the suppliers and customers? There are two applications will be there in this e-commerce. There are two applications. One is this is whatever you're seeing. I am a customer view, but there will be one more option they will give it for supplier. Okay, so there will be one more option if anybody want to become a supplier. For example, say Nykaa.com. Okay, so if I want to become a supplier, there will be an option here. Store and events. Help. Okay, you can connect with their team. They will be able to help you out. For example, if you want to go and sell your product, so you can become a supplier, and then you can post your products on this particular platform. Okay, and they will also take their own percentage margin, and accordingly you will also get your own margin. So they will discuss with you, and everything will have after discussion. Then your products will be live. You can go and sell it. So whenever we are working on an e-commerce application, there will be two applications. One is supplier, another one is customer. As a customer, you are able to see the front end view, how the application looks like. But as a supplier in the back end, you should be able to add the product. You should be able to, like say, deliver the product, receive the payment. So they will ask you, have you done a payment gateway testing? You should tell that, yes, I have done a payment gateway testing. How you have done? When I was testing in my project, yes, as you know, e-commerce, there are two, like we will have two applications. One is in the back end as a supplier and as a front end as a customer. So I will log in as a customer with a given email ID or phone number, whatever the credential is given by the developer. I will log in and I will place an order, and then I'll make a payment. In the back end as a supplier, I would have been integrated with the so and so customer. So I will check whether the payment is received with the supplier bank or not. And when I log out and I log in as a customer, I want to return this product. And again, once I click on return, I'll come back, and as a supplier, I should be able to make a repayment. So this is how I will check the payment gateway. So you will be using a particular debit cards and credit cards, which is given by the development team for testing with some limits of balance. So you have to test it. This question 100% they will ask you in the interview. You should say that. And I have explained the payment gateway for QC 18 fellows. Go back and watch once again. All the scenarios you should remember. I have given around the UI scenarios, integration scenarios, security scenarios, performance testing scenarios in the soft copy documents. Please read it carefully before you attend any of the interview. That is very, very important, that section. Okay, so now let's come back. And they will ask you more scenarios on the wallet. How do you test wallet option? How do you test EMI option? How do you check UPI? How to check the debit card and credit card along with the various banks? So go back and read those scenarios, by heart those scenarios. Now, next, one more question they've asked recently. I'm just bringing that question. Okay, assume that you are testing an API. This is a smart way of asking a question, and let us see how many dummy fellows will fall into trap. Okay, consider you are testing an API. You are testing an API. Consider you are testing an API. This is for QC 18 fellows because QC 19 API is not done. Consider you are testing an API. So you will be able to fetch the data. So you will be able to fetch the data in Android device. But in iOS, what kind of API testing you do? What kind of API testing you do? Answer. Fetching the data, which API request?
Get request.
Then common sense question. What kind of API testing you do? So fetching a data in Android device, you are using get method. Here, what method you will use?
I think it's the same.
Is what you have to answer. Same. You're not going to change anything. What in iOS, what kind of API testing you do? Here they gave an answer to fetch the data. Here they are asking you whether you are a fake or genuine. They are getting to know here only. So what kind of testing you do? What kind of API testing in the iOS?
Fetching the data.
What kind of testing? You are also asking question to them only.
Get.
You should tell I will perform using a get request method. I will perform the API testing. Using get request method, I will perform the API testing to fetch the data. Clear? This is how you need to answer. Okay. When we delete an application, what is the status code you're going to get? Or for example, when you go and delete any of the API requests, what status code you will get? It shows that you are not read API testing notes at all. What kind of status code you are going to get when you delete? Shabash. So this is a problem with all ladies and gentlemen.
204.
204. Be louder. Be confident. Okay. What will you do if your assume that if an application gets crashed? what will you do if an application gets crashed in the production environment? In the production environment, what will you do? Same answer. If application gets crashed in the production environment, we will get to know through Mixpanel. So then we will get to know the particular user is facing an issue or whether multiple customers are facing an issue. If particular customer is facing, we will check whether that particular device is there any issue, because we will get to know the version of that particular mobile which customer is using. But if many customers are facing this issue, then yeah, this is going to be a production issue. Immediately we will roll back to the development. So development team, they'll fix the production issues, and then we will do the retesting, and then we will redeploy. It means we will re-release the new version to the production environment. So then that defect will be fixed. Then they will ask, so will you delete the old software and will you release a new software? No. We will be pushing the new changes to the production environment. We will not delete because all the customers already using. So we have an option to roll out the update to the production environment, and we are not going to roll out at single shot. For example, if PhonePe is updating, they're not going to release it to everybody, to all the 5 crore users. First 10% users, they will roll out. Tomorrow, 20%. Day after tomorrow, 50%. Like that, they will release. They will see whether this person is able to update. Is he getting any issues? They will get to know. Through that, they will release a full update to the customer. So this is all about the mobile application. Next, they will ask you, have you worked on Browser Stack? Browser Stack tool. Yes, you tell Browser Stack tool I have used to do the web, to do the cross browser testing. You can tell that. This one, Browser Stack tool. Browser Stack tool. To do the cross browser testing. Here you can test the websites also. Here there is an option here, right? Web or app. If you give web, qscircle.com or .in, you can go and test here. If I choose web, web application live. So in Windows 10, okay, in Windows 10, I want to open it in the Chrome browser. Chrome 125 is the latest version. Let me open it. Okay, it is launching qscircle.com. Okay, qscircle.in, it is opening. Earlier I gave already URL. Okay, yes, it is opening that time, and as you see, this is opening like this. Okay, yeah, website is loading properly or not? Oh yeah, okay, fine. Things are coming like this. So this is what we do with the cross browser testing. I do cross browser means I can test it in the multiple browsers. So I'll stop the session. I can test it on the web as well as web application. I can test it. Also, this one is whatever I tested. This is the normal web in Windows and Mac. Also, I can check. In Mac, there are multiple versions are there. Okay. So now, if not Mac, you can test in iOS. Also, you can test it in Android. This is mobile web. This is mobile web, and then normal Android apps and iOS apps. You can check it in the both. Then you'll get normal Android and iOS device. You can do the testing. So you should answer, yes, I have done the testing in both web as well as mobile, and I have used all the tools. I will share you this recording, Browser Stack one recording I have made for previous batches. Let me check that. Browser Stack, this tool I have, okay, I will share this to all of you. you can watch for more detail. With live recording, I've done it for all one application, live application, Visho application. Let me make a copy. So you have Charles Proxy recording I've shared already. So tomorrow the class will not be happening. She will be taking the Wednesday and Thursday. She's working in Geo Cinema. Her name is Asha. She's our student. She's working in a IGS company. So she will take your Charles Proxy class. Before that, you try to watch this recording. Okay, and browser stat, yeah, I've uploaded. You can watch it. So this completes your mobile application. And today I will be taking a project transition class for QC 18 fellows. Join the call. And I'll wind up the session now. If anybody want to ask any question, please ask. And test cases, how many of you written QC 18? While before joining the class, make sure you have written. I'm going to check each and everybody. Otherwise, I'm not going to assign the projects. Okay, let me stop the recording.